Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Tim Talks.
Yeah,
Tim,
welcome.
What are we talking about today?
We are talking today about Blacklist, also known as Blocklist, and how you as an email marketer can monitor, stay off of, and if you do wind up on one, ways to get off of it quickly. Yeah.
So what exactly what is that? I mean, what's the impact with these blocklists, blacklists, whatever the industry's calling them nowadays?
Right. So a blacklist or a blocklist is a IP address that's actually monitored by the ISP. So what they're doing is they're monitoring the IP address or the domains from companies and organizations to identify whether or not you're sending a lot of spam, if you're sending a lot of email that looks to be the same or similar, because you're going to get flagged as a spammer. So the whole purpose of these ISPs or the domains that create these block lists is to reduce spam for their users.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So for email marketers, it sounds like something that would heavily hamper your deliverability.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So would this also impact your internal emails? Like if you're just emailing Betty in finance, for instance?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a great example of that is we here at Webbula actually had a client a few years ago that had that exact issue happen, where they were put on a block list to the point where they couldn't even email, the CFO couldn't even email the new offer letter to their incoming CMO.
That is insane.
Yeah. So it was that's how badly they were impacted, is that they couldn't, nothing was internally or externally was going in or out. They weren't able to send anything at all.
So you said spammy content, so like similar emails that look the same. What other things should you avoid? I know that there are words that you should avoid that spam filters are looking for, like for free or download now.
Right. Things like that. So also what these ISPs, what they're looking for is any type of content around click now, like you said, free, but also what they're looking for is just that continual spammy emails that you send out, where it's multiple emails over and over and over. So you've got the same content that you're sending out to multiple users on your platform. So what they do is they identify, hey, you've sent this same email to 15 users at this domain. You could be a spammer because you're just doing a batch and blast to all of the users within a short time frame. Let's say within 15 seconds, you send the same email address to everyone. You're a B2B, you're doing a lot of B2B marketing, and you're wanting to send to an organization an offer. And as a sales guy, you may just say, hey, I'm going to load up everyone and just blast everyone in the marketing department. Probably not the best idea.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
So there are ways that marketers can protect themselves from block listing. And something that Webbula really pushes hard is setting up your authentication protocols.
Yeah, that's one way, but you definitely want to set up your SPF. You want to set up your DMARC, your DKIM. That's one way, but to end up getting put on a block list, what ends up happening is that you send too many emails and you get a lot of spam complaints. You send spammy type of emails. You send too many emails where you have a high bounce rate, or you inevitably end up sending to emails that are actual honeypots, or they are email addresses that are used to identify people who are spammers. So they're known as could be a recycled bounce, where it's an email address leveraged by an organization that was good in the past, but they've reactivated it as a spam trap type of email.
Interesting. So it sounds like it's a combination of both technology and content in conjunction. So if you are not properly segmenting your audience and you're sending irrelevant emails, that's a great way to get on a block list. It's kind of crazy. So how strict are these? So can you just hey, email Spam House, for instance, and say I totally will change my ways, promise, and they're off, and that's it? Or is it more?
In theory, yes, that's how it should be. But what you as an organization would need to do is actually prove over hey, you've not only cleaned up your list, but you've also taken the proper actions and steps to cut down on bad emails. You're not sending a lot of spammy content. And so over time, you've built that trust back. So when they are looking at you, they can say, yep, we can remove your domain or this IP address off of our block list.
So you have documentation saying, I set up my authentication protocols. I'm doing email verification, email hygiene. I've changed how quickly I send emails to users. I'm properly segmenting. Those are all those things.
Yep.
So what happens if you just completely abuse that trust that you built with that blocklist or blacklist? So like this is your third time getting listed.
Yeah. This is where it depends on the organization, the company. You've got Fortune 100, 500 companies that could potentially get away with it more so than your smaller organizations or smaller companies that could do that. But in theory, if you are a habitual offender, just like in anything in life, you do it over and over, they're just going to say, sorry, we're blocking you. You're done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then from there, you buy a new IP.
Right. You buy a new IP, you set up a new domain, but if you don't change your ways, you're going to get put on that block list once again. It's not going to matter.
So let's say you get permanently blocklisted after your first time. You didn't properly remediate, but you hire a consultancy, do your email verification, all these things that you should be doing. So IP warming seems like a really good strategy to implement.
Yeah.
And looking into the settings of your ESP to ensure that you are sending emails not as a fire hose, but at a human rate.
Exactly. You want to set it at a human rate. You don't want to send too many emails. You want to make sure your content is proper. You make sure your subject lines are set up properly. Again, everything that you do as an email marketer to stay off of not only having high bounce rates, but to stay off of these block lists.
Insane.
Yeah. So what's really crazy is we saw an article from 2020 that said that 47.9% of all email was spam in the year 2020.
That's an amazing amount. I don't know if you guys have any idea, but there are trillions of emails sent pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Everything from commerce to maintenance notifications, everything.
Yeah, and it's wild because they said that 94% of all malware is delivered via email.
I can believe that.
Yeah, which is definitely, in this day and age, absolutely, that's totally believable. So, Gmail is one of the biggest ISPs along with Yahoo and AOL, but they're the ones who set up protection services that will block a lot of the spam. So that's why it's important to have your DMARC, your DKIM set up, your SPF, because they're the ones who could also make your life pretty miserable and put you on some block list where you can't send anything out.
So I guess the question top of my mind right now is, should Blacklist be feared?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're doing anything as a marketer that you shouldn't be, or you're not setting up proper protocols to have a good quality sending routine, cleaning routine, and making sure that you're doing your proper double opt-in of when you aggregate or capture that email address, then you could definitely get put on a block list. So it should be feared, and it's a good thing because it keeps us all in check so that we do what we should be doing, so that the consumer on the other end, on the receiving end, we don't get mad, or they don't get mad when they receive your email because they know that they wanted to get it.
I was hoping you would say that the good part of it.
Yeah, the good part. Yeah,
because we're all consumers at the end of the day. Once we clock out at 5 o'clock, nobody wants a full inbox.
I know. Nobody wants that at all. What's crazy is Gmail alone blocks, I believe it's around 100 million phishing emails a day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have their spam detection pretty high, which is good. Again, it's to protect the end users. Gmail is a free platform. There's also the business platform that you can pay for, but most people use Gmail from a free standpoint. So it's good that they have these protections in place and are requiring us on the business side to do everything that we should in order to protect that end user and that consumer.
And your brand.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, that does it for us today. It was a really good episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a ton of resources available for everybody. We'll link a few blogs, particularly about Blacklist, Blocklisting, Gray listing, which is a really interesting topic that we'll dive into here in a few episodes.
Yep. We'll also provide some links on how you can monitor to see if any of your domains or IP addresses are on any type of block list. So we've got some good links so you can check them out, monitor that, and figure out how to navigate that and get yourself off of them if unfortunately you do wind up on them.
And if you want to prevent being on a block list, come visit Webbula.com for all your email hygiene verification needs.
Absolutely.
And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment below.
Absolutely. Thank you all. See you next time.
Peace.